couch with us right now. We have Dan Meyer with the Boone Area Chamber of Commerce. He's here to talk to us a little bit about cash flow. So thank you so much for being here.
My pleasure. You and I didn't get the memo, did we?
No, we're all nice and springy.
Springy, nice
snow.
and green and pink flowers. I mean, you know what? And they're out right now. They're out putting brine down, and it's a gorgeous day, cold and gorgeous, but putting brine down.
Right.
Winter doesn't want to quit, I don't think.
I don't think so. That's what it is up here in the high country, especially March. It's pretty one minute and then snow in the next.
Yep. Let's talk a little bit about cash flow. Something that's important to every business and every home.
Definitely.
That at the end of you don't run out of money at the end of the month, but you have some money at the end of the month. But it's so important for business because if you get behind the 8 ball, you can really have some difficulties, and you can't always rob Peter to pay Paul. And that's too often what we do in budgets, whether it's home or any place else. We say, well, let's see, I won't spend the money over here, I'll spend it over there, but then you spend it over here, and then all of a sudden, well, but I really have to have this over here. Before you know it, you're into credit cards and you're into borrowing money. And so cash is incredibly important. The phrase cash is king is certainly true. Certainly true in an economy like we're in today, too.
Right.
So many lines of credit were just gone. Even though we've had folks that have had excellent credit, they've always paid their bill, but they've carried a business line of credit so that they could use it if they needed to, if something came up, equipment or anything else. And they go in to do it, and all of a sudden they find out the bank's canceled that line of credit. It's just not there. And so that's why cash is so important that you hang on to that. First principle about following your cash flow and improving your cash flow, kind of basic. Read your bank statements.
Important.
It really is important.
Yes.
You know what a lot of people do? They don't even know, oh, it's from the bank, I'll just put it up here. And before you know it, you got a bunch of them up there, and you wonder why something isn't happening with your checking or whatever. Read your bank statements.
Right.
That's part of running a business. It's part of running your home. Knowing where you are in terms of those accounts, whatever accounts they are. Second, if you have an accounting system, which every business should have, every family doesn't necessarily have an accounting system, but every business certainly does. And so it's important to read your cash flow statements. At the Chamber, we've got an operating budget, and so we know exactly what our budget is, what we spent against our budget, and then we have a balance sheet, separate report that says here are your assets and here are your liabilities and how do those compare and all of that. Know how to do it. Now, for those that don't know how to do it, I want you to know later this spring we're going to offer a workshop called Cash Flow is King. This is for the small business operator who wants to get a better handle on things and understand what's going on. Because sometimes we think, well, it was that check didn't come through or this didn't happen or that, and we kind of let things go. But it's as important to open those accounts as it is to open your front door. So you really know where you are. Number 3, collect receivables. You can't let customers go on and on forever. Now, we're not a retail operation at the Chamber, but we have accounts receivable too. It's renewal time. So we send out a notice, it's time to renew your membership. And we send it out actually 60 days before it's due, so they understand that, so they know it's coming. And now it's time, and we don't get a check. And now it's 30 days later, and we don't get a check. And now it's 60 days later, and we don't get a check. So being a membership organization, you want to work with those members. It's not like we have given them an object. They have something that they have used up. It's a little more intangible. So our accounts receivable are very different than a retail. But at some point, you have to say, no more. We have to cut that, and we have to say, look, you're 60 days overdue, you're 90 days overdue. We're going to take your name off of the website. We're going to put you in an inactive status, period, unless you're able to pay the membership dues. And what we have been doing for a lot of folks, and I would tell you, any of you out there, any of you businesses out there that are listening right now, if you haven't renewed for 6 months or a year, we are offering amnesty, if you wish. Renew today and we'll start you all over. We won't worry about collecting what's past, but because we want you members, we want to be able to provide services to you. So we can do that. Somebody who's put out cash for materials and they haven't been paid, that's a little different matter. But get those cash receivables and your accounts receivables. I remember as a paper boy, I used to collect every week from everybody, which meant you had to truck around all the time. And I said, well, that's a lot of trucking around. So I said, we're going to change it to monthly. So, and that worked real well. Well, I was about ready to give up my route to go off to college. And I started looking at how much people owed. And I was surprised at how much accounts receivable I had and was able to collect it. And it was a windfall because sometimes we just said, well, we'll let them go a little longer, let them go a little longer. Get those receivables in. Number 4, get long-term, longer terms from your vendors. In other words, if you have to buy something, sometimes it's payable on receipt, sometimes it's 30 days. But if you have a good track record with a company, sometimes you can ask them for like 45 days. So if you can extend that out, that keeps the cash in your register a little bit longer, gives you a little more cushion. So see about extending your terms from your vendors. And last, sell your inventory faster and keep inventory levels lower. Now you say, well, how do I sell it faster? Well, offer sales. Listen, if you've got something on your shelf that's been there for months and you already paid for it and you were trying to get double, okay, MSRP, suggested retail, so put it on sale and get it off of your shelf. And maybe you don't order as many of those things that stay on your shelves longer. Fortunately now, retailers, well, most businesses have a wonderful partner in it. They pay for that partnership, but that's called UPS and FedEx and all that. Because what it allows you to do is order smaller amounts and not have to stockpile them in your business. And it's more readily available. So if you're controlling your inventory and you typically buy a dozen of something, and now you're down to 3 or 4, then okay, I need some, then you can order, and because you're not ordering multiples and multiples and putting them in a warehouse or stocking them back, stocking someplace. So the term now is logistics. You've heard that word. Everybody's heard that word, and that is the easy movement from supplier to distributor to your vendor, and then to you, or however that is. So inventory control, very, very, very important.
Right.
So many of the businesses that have all of the UPS, that's not right, UPC codes and all that. So they know exactly how many. My son-in-law went into a store in Greensboro yesterday. He went into REI, which is a outdoor store, and he was looking at a pair of boots. And that was incredible. She scanned the UPC with her phone, did it all up and say, oh, we have 3 of those in stock, and there's also a pair in Charlotte and one in Raleigh. I mean, that kind of inventory control is incredibly important because you know what you got, and if you're getting low, then you can reorder. So inventory control, extremely important. So you've got to work the money as hard as you work the customers. Know your money as well as you know your customers to keep ahead with cash flow so that you've got resources to use when opportunities arise. So I want to walk the corridors with you for just a second. There's a lot happening in Boone. If you're coming in 421, there'll be a new Subaru Toyota dealership out there. Modern is going to be building out there. There's going to be a new Bojangles. There's going to be a new Bubbles car wash out there. And there's going to be a new hotel. What a lot of people don't know is that new hotel will probably make the first significant increase in lodging rooms in Boone. we've had so much movement of buildings, but we will net increase actually for the first time in almost 25 years our lodging inventory. If you come in 321, you've got Chipotle and Mattress Firm. 105, Boone Baglery has moved out to the old water wheel. I use that. That's a great locator. Downtown, Cilantro's is coming in. And what's the other one called? Oh, those new apartments on King Street. It's actually called 492 Loft.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Coming up, nice looking building.
Yes.
There's also going to be the Southern States. There's a project being applied for there. There's a project being applied for at where the old hotel was, between McDonald's and the TV and the radio station there. Beautiful, nice, new-looking complex. There's Zaxby's coming at 105 and State Farm Road. There's the Fun Factory right next door, literally through the wall next door. There's the high school property that has a serious looker with a project there. There's the IRC property just down the road here with a project being looked at. There's even some folks that are interested in Shadowline. So there is a ton of new things happening, and it's exciting to see. It will be challenging to some businesses because it's competition. So those of you that are impacted by these new things, hopefully you have, but certainly you need to be sure you're developing a customer loyalty program. So that, I mean, yeah, they're going to all go there, but then if they know you and they don't see those same expectations met, they're going to come back. Any new restaurant, everybody pounces on it, and then what happens? They all kind of filter back. Some will stick, many will go back to their regulars. No matter what that new service is, it gets immediate attention, but then it's kind of absorbed. So what is so important is that you have a customer loyalty program that ties them to you so that you can adjust to that. That may mean changing your inventory, may mean changing who you market to. But if you don't change, somebody said if you don't change, you won't survive. So you have to make those adjustments, be sensitive to what is happening. We had a fantastic business after hours.
You did.
Did you count? Were you there?
I was.
There were so many people there. There was over 150 people there. It
was great.
It was at the Holiday Inn Express. We had a great time. Banner Elk Winery was there, and wonderful food. Had a great band. The jazz ensemble from the university was there. Just a great time. And our host and hostess were great there at the Holiday Inn Express. We have another one coming up in April, so y'all don't want to miss this. It's going to be at Caldwell Community College, their new building that is going up, and they're also celebrating their 50th anniversary. So it's going to be a big bash.
Great.
That's on April 17th, and then put it into your tickler file. May 1st at the mall, at the Boone Mall, will be our Boone Business Expo again. So be thinking about that. If you're one of our local businesses, we encourage you to have a booth, and we'll be sending out information about that. Or if you have questions about the expo or anything that the Chamber does, please give us a call at 264-2225 or go on the website to boonechamber.com.
Fantastic. Well, tons of things going on. Thank you so much for making time for us today.
Always a pleasure to be here.
Absolutely. And we will be back right after these messages with more of the Mountain Television Network.